Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to this session. So we have quite a few executive members who join us today to share their experience. And welcome along to those who, for those of you who are interested, and I'm sure other colleagues are also interested, but they are not being able to join us today. But this will be published on our website and maybe on our social media platform as well. So first and foremost, would you like to introduce yourself since we are such a cozy small group? So let's start with Amanda.
Hey everybody, Amanda White. I've been an ASCILITE member since Geelong, whenever that was. Was that 2019, 2018? Something like that. I just remember the first one I went to. And I'm an education-focused academic in business and also on the steering committee of the Business Education SIG for ASCILITE.
Thank you, Amanda. That's a great demo of the introduction. So let's the next one, Lucy. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lucy and I work for Uni SA Online in South Australia on Ghana land. And I've been a member for about maybe 3-4 weeks. Or maybe, I can't remember actually, maybe a couple of months. I finished my PhD and I'm very much interested in generative AI and particularly the use of generative AI in videos. So my current project is on ethics and the use of using someone's likeness. So sometimes you'll see me and sometimes you'll see the fake me. So I'm interested in finding out what this is about and then seeing if I'm interested in putting my name forward for being part of the committee.
Excellent. Thank you, Lucy, and welcome along to ASCILITE. 3 to 4 weeks of membership. That's great. James, it's good to see you again. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. So my name's James. I'm currently at the University of Sydney, although previously I was at La Trobe for a couple of years as well. I haven't held any kind of official positions, I guess, in ASCILITE, but I've been involved since 2022. I think I attended the Sydney conference online. I've actually never been to any of the conferences face to face, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, personal life always conspires to keep me away, but I've been involved in some of the mentoring programs and also taking part in some of the contextualizing horizon sort of writing groups.
Yeah, great. Thanks, James. Great to see you in CMP a couple of years ago, and hopefully you can make it to Adelaide this year, as Mike put it in the chat. And lastly, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Itihar?
University librarian and associate director library and learning experience. I am attending a lot of programs. Can you hear me?
Not really.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Iftikhar Hayat. I'm the associate director library and learner experience and also the university librarian at University of Canberra. I have attended a lot of ASCILITE program. My main goal is student experience and how to shape it better with the upcoming technologies, background in computer engineering and information sciences, post-graduation in information sciences, and working in Singapore now here in Australia, and looking through how we can shape the student experience better and better for the future. I'm also part of a standards ITLET committee, which is look at developing standards for IT learning and teaching, which is a cool area. And if you can't have anything at night, you can work on standards.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you again in the conference this year. So once again, thanks all four of you for making yourself available for this session today. So I'm sure you would like to hear more what to expect if you are being nominated as an exec either this year or the next series. So maybe we can start with our president, Mike, to share his experience on the exec. Mike and I joined in 2019, I think, and we started our journey in Singapore when the ASCILITE conference was organized there. So over to you, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks, Kwan Yui. Yeah, downside of being the president is you get to go first, right? So I didn't realize we were identifying ourselves by what was the first ASCILITE conference we went to. I think the first conference I went to was, Sandy can help me out here. I think it was Toowoomba. It was the one up on the mountain. I got a paper published in ASCILITE the year before, but I didn't get to the conference until a year after. So yeah, there's a difference there. But as Kwong Yui said, I started on the exec in 2019. I guess similar to a couple of the stories I've already heard, people that have been members for a couple of years and kind of starting to go, oh, I might want to get more involved in the committee. And that was me as well. I started on the committee in 2019 and then became vice president and then president. Toowoomba was 2017. There you go. So must have been 2016 for my first paper, I think, Sandy. And then our first conference was Toowoomba in 2017. You'll hear from Sandy in a minute. She's our treasurer and also ran the Toowoomba conference. That's why I figured she'd know. So I'm not sure. I guess I guess are you just looking for an intro now, Kwong Yui, and I'll come back and I'll talk a bit about. Yeah, so that's me. I have to get my nomination in for being president, and again next time, by the way, somebody remind me. I mustn't forget to do that. I'm halfway through my presidency, 2 years. And hopefully going to go for another 2, assuming I get elected again, of course. But I'll hand over to, I'd say Sandy's probably next in line as our treasurer.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy Barker. I'm a senior lecturer in business at UniSA, soon to be Adelaide University. The countdown is on. Lucy's smiling. Yeah, we're not quite dead yet. I've been a member of ASCILITE since 2002. So this is my 23rd year of being a member, and Adelaide will be my 23rd conference. I missed one in 24 years, so in 24 conferences. So I was on the organising committee for the Adelaide 2003 conference. I was co-convener of the 2016 conference in Adelaide. I've been the executive liaison for the last 3 conferences, and I am the convener of this year's conference in Adelaide. So ASCILITE's in the blood. They are my tribe, or you guys are my tribe. It's a fantastic environment. I'm sure we'll talk more about our portfolios soon.
Thank you, Sandy. And Penny and Lisa are our newest exec since last year, but they have joined ASCILITE a while ago. So Penny has already unmuted herself. So maybe Penny, you can go first.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Penny White. So I'm a lecturer learning futures at Deakin University. And as soon as I got a short-term contract there and then managed to get an ongoing job, the first thing I did was join up to the CMP program, which I was very fortunate to have Amanda White, who's with us today, as my mentor. And I felt that, yeah, this is the organization that I feel like I belong. And Amanda was also very kind in helping facilitate me to come along to Sydney and really encouraging. And I just that sense of belonging, of being welcomed into the community like that was amazing. And so Sydney. So we have to nominate, where we started, by the conference location of the first time we attended. So Sydney was pretty spectacular, I have to say. And the dinner was very memorable with, on the harbour there. And yeah, and so now just joining the exec as well. So I think I'm here, going to hang around.
Thanks, Penny. Lisa?
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Bugden. I'm a senior learning designer at UNE in Armidale. And my first ASCILITE conference was in 2011 in Hobart. So that was a good conference. It was a long time ago. And I think I've probably been to conferences since when I've got funding. So sort of dotted in between. And I think UNE, my institution, I feel like we've always had memberships. I don't even know when that started. Yeah.
Thank you.
UNE were one of the first institutional members.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Lisa. And lastly, myself, I think I joined ASCILITE when I was a postgraduate student, and my PhD supervisors encouraged me to have a mentor from CMP. So that was my starting point. And I think my first ASCILITE conference was in Dunedin at the University of Otago back in 2014, I think, in Dunedin. Is that right, Sandy?
I'm going to go with 2012, but I'm going to check.
Okay, 2012. Wow. Okay, I have graduated so a long time ago. So yeah, so that was my starting point. And then, like I said just now, 2019, I joined at the same time as Mike. So yeah, no, that's. Thank you everyone for your introduction. So now we can maybe give an overview of our portfolio to our members who are interested to join ASEC. So there are quite a lot of portfolios on the ASEC. And maybe Mike, as the president, maybe you can talk about the portfolios that are not being mentioned by the ASEC members here. So you will go last this round if that's okay. So I will start with myself. So when I first started, I was in charge for the portfolio, CMP portfolio, so community mentoring program, with Mike. So we review the program, and then coincidentally COVID-19 hit, so we came up with a model that would suit everyone at that point of time. And since then, Mike has moved on, and now I am on CMP with Lisa and Penny. And in between that, I was also working with Hazel, our another ASEC member, and we developed a CMP for professional staff. So not only academic staff, but also for professional staff. So that is the CMP. Apart from CMP, I'm also be responsible for webinars like this one. So I've been working, thanks Mike for putting me into the webinar thing, but it has been great. So working on webinars with various staff colleagues. This year working with Karen, she is on leave today, so that's why she couldn't join us. Otherwise she would have joined us. But also a kind of sub portfolio from the webinar is the podcast, which Vico is going to reactivate it this year. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I also play a small role with social media, led by Sandy, which I'm sure she will talk about it in a while. So social media, we have quite a few social media platforms, and the one that I am responsible for is LinkedIn post. So whenever you see a LinkedIn post, that's from me. And our membership on LinkedIn has grown rapidly one year after another. So that is a good sign. And the post has been read because I look at the general analytics every year. So that was good. Also, another one is blog posts. So I think I started quite actively on blog posts as well. But as time goes, it seems like the blogs are kind of hard to get some attention from our members or colleagues. So we have been thinking ways to improve our blogs, but I think it is still going. And today I just posted the newest blog on our LinkedIn. So that's my role as that over the years since 2019. What's the tips and tricks or my own experience? Obviously, is a great learning opportunities from colleagues from Australasia. Also, is a very good opportunity to meet new colleagues, like-minded colleagues. I met a lot of good friendship, collaborate with a lot of new colleagues because of ASCILITE, and particularly working on the ASEC. The only tricky part, I would say, is due to the change of the higher education landscape. Maybe before you put in your nomination, have a chat with your line manager and see whether you are allowed to get some time off, because there is some sort of commitment for ASEC to join the committee. We do have at least 2 face-to-face meetings that people will get together for 2 days. Or 1.5 days, but including travel will be 2 days. And coming from New Zealand sometimes is 2.5 to 3 days. Also, there will be in between the face-to-face meetings, there will be online meetings as well, and every online meeting is about at least 2 hours. So I'm not sure, because I think in the past it will be easier to provide service like this for the wider community. But nowadays, I think with the change and the environment, that is something for us to ponder as well. But don't let this put you off, because I know some execs manage to find a way to work around it or have a negotiation with your line manager. So hope to see new faces on our exec, because that's always great and exciting to hear new insights, new perspectives, and new ideas. So once again, you are welcome along, and I will pass it on to Sandy.
All right, just had to unmute. So just going on from what Kwong Nui said, we meet every 2 months. So once every 2 months. And as she said, 2 of those are face-to-face and all the rest are online. I was just looking back at the portfolios, and when I joined with Kwong Nui and Michael, so we all started at the same time on the executive, there were 16 portfolios, and I was assigned to 3 of them. All 3 I'm still on, which is quite funny. So I was actually named back in 2020 as the public officer for the association. Because we are an incorporated body, we need to have a public officer. The ASCILITE is incorporated in South Australia, because when we were set up, that's where the person that did all the work was based. So we need to have a South Australian resident as our public officer. That is a requirement. Otherwise, we have to be incorporated again in another state. So I came on as the previous South Australian went off. So it was a no-brainer for the executive to say, Sandy, you're it. I really didn't have a lot of say in it, but that's okay. Subsequently, I was made leader of the governance portfolio, which looks after the Constitution, the conference handbook, the new member induction handbook, and anything to do with legislation. So that was one of my first portfolios, along with, as Kwong Nui said, the Tell All blog. So I lead the blog portfolio. The blog only started in 2016, so it's now been going quite a long time, coming up for its 10th year. It was the name of it was announced at the 2016 conference. That's how I remember it, the closing ceremony. So yes, so it's been around for a while. And I also lead the social media team, which Vikal is also a member of. I look after pretty much everything else apart from LinkedIn. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You'll start seeing more of a presence on Blue Sky over the next couple of months. We're going to start ramping that up and moving back. And I refuse to call it the letter. It's still Twitter to me. I was saying that to somebody yesterday. So they were my first 3 portfolios, and I still have them. We now have 22 portfolios, so we've increased over the past 6 years by 6 portfolios. It hasn't quite been 1 a year, but it's averaged out that way. And as treasurer, I get to take on a lot more portfolios. So I've jumped from 3 portfolios to now 9 portfolios. So I'm also on the SIG portfolio, grants, research school, grants because of being treasurer, and governance, fiscal management. I've also taken on leadership of individual and institutional memberships. So looking after that portfolio and how we can improve our numbers, but also improve the benefits, particularly for our institutional members. I have for the last few years been on the conference portfolio. As I said, I've been involved in quite a few and have been the executive liaison for Christchurch and Melbourne, taking that over from Hazel, who was a member of, who was looking after them before that. So yeah, so a lot of portfolios I look after. As new members, if you were elected or interested and then elected onto the executive, we would get you to work with a portfolio. We wouldn't necessarily get you to lead a portfolio, but work with people in your area of interest. So, you know, we don't force you into any particular area. You get to put your hand up and say what you're interested in, and then look at how that portfolio works. So apart from our normal exec meetings, the portfolios have a tendency to try and meet in between those meetings if we can, particularly if there's anything pressing. So I know the institutional membership group have to meet very soon, so about some changes to the process. But yeah, there's normally 2 to 3 people assigned to each portfolio, depending on how big it is. So we're always looking for new blood and new interests. So happy to answer any questions later on about particular portfolio. Thanks, Kongnui.
Thank you, Sandy. That was a very comprehensive overview. That's great. So Lisa, would you like to go first this round?
Thanks. So I help with the CMP portfolio with Kongnui and Penny, and that is a lot of fun. And I also work with Hazel, who leads the Women in Professional Leadership. And that portfolio is, I guess, sort of a mentoring program for our professional staff women. And that's something I had written down to note, is that I am a professional staff member, and we love our professional staff members here on the exec, so we always encourage them to apply. Also to note, I am a part-timer, so I have a young family, and that's a bit of a priority at the moment. And all these portfolios, you might be sitting here going, this sounds like a lot of work. But what I can tell you is, as a part-timer, I can still fit it all in. It's not a huge, massive commitment, I think, is a key thing to say. And it's excellent to give back to the ASCILITE community, in that what I have learnt this year is that the community itself is a really giving community. A lot of people contribute and help out, and it's so nice to be part of that and to give back. The other thing I help with is TELAS. So TELAS is the technology enhanced, I have to look at this, learning accreditation standards. So they're standards we have to assess the quality of online learning. And I work with Elaine Huber on that, and that's a great portfolio to be part of as well. The other thing I just wanted to quickly say is that being part of the ASCILITE executive gives you great opportunity to develop your leadership skills, your collaboration skills, and you get to work across the higher education industry, which is a really nice kind of perspective to take back to your own institution as well. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Lisa. It was great working with you on CMP. Penny.
Yes, so when we went to our first executive meeting, there was this spreadsheet of all the portfolios and all the names being allotted to those portfolios. I'm not sure if we actually remember what, we were all just, our names appeared all over in different places. But I just want to reiterate that it is a very supportive leadership group, and there is that opportunity to explore and join different things. So I'll start off with CMP. It's really fabulous to want to support this program and be involved and like learn the ropes, if you like. So you're not just thrown in and left totally unsupported as a new executive member. Everybody's so helpful and so giving, just to reiterate what others are saying in terms of finding your feet and working out ways that you can contribute and what you enjoy to actually contribute to. There's been, I don't even know, like, as I said, what portfolios my name's actually on, but I've been able to engage with looking after the SIGs and working out what work do we need to do. Do we need to update the communications and handbook for the SIG leaders? What are we providing SIGs, in terms of support or communications and I think we have the SIGs leaders come along now to the executive so we can share more and support more, across the way our organization branches out so broadly.
Can I just ask what's SIG?
Oh, sorry. Special interest groups. Yes. Good work. I'm glad I knew the acronym that I was talking. And then I've been I do know that I think my name is on a member feedback portfolio. So we'll be taking on members' feedback. What do membership think? What direction are we going to? That kind of work. There's been opportunities to engage with partners, and I guess the flexibility is there that, a call might go out saying, anybody want to, come along to this, to, where there's partner engagement opportunities, and to throw out ideas in about which organizations we might partner with and what that looks like. Being able to be in conversations about the podcasts, and yeah, so it's very exciting, the range of people and topics and projects that you can be involved in on the executive.
Thank you, Penny. It's good to have you on board. You always have some new ideas, so that is great. Lastly, Mike, maybe you can sum out the portfolios that we haven't touched on.
Oh, I'd have to have kept track. Okay, so for the recording, ladies and gentlemen, here's the list. You ready? Conferences, strategic activities and partnerships, individual and institutional memberships, fiscal management, that's Sandy, governance, also Sandy, agent management committee, that's me.
Yes, actually, I've gone along to that too.
That's right, you're on. LS, which Lisa mentioned, CMALT, which is our certified member accreditation program with ALT in the UK, the ASCILITE publishing platform, we call it APUBs for short, Contextualizing Horizons, which I think Lisa mentioned, ASCILITE live webinars, which Kwong Yui mentioned, and we are doing right now, the Wavelength podcast, the Tell All blog, social media, CMP, which a few people have mentioned, WIAL, which is the Women in Academic Leadership Program, WIPL, Women in Professional Leadership Program, awards, grants, the Research School, which is happening right now as we speak, the SIG, Special Interest Groups for Lucy, and the member feedback, which Penny mentioned. So that's the long list. That's the 22, I think, Sandy said.
22, is it?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a good question now to follow that. How many portfolios do we have is 22. Is how many executive do we have?
We have, it depends on which way you count, let's say 11.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason I say depends on which way you count is, do you count Roger? I think we should. He's the secretariat. And do you count Tom Cochran, who is currently co-opted?
Yeah.
10 elected members, a co-opted member, and a secretariat gives us an even dozen. Okay, so
there's lots of opportunities, Mike.
so that's the list, which I read for you so you knew, because when we brought Penny and Vical and various other people on, I said to them in one of their first meetings, what do you want to do? And they said, we don't know what the list is. So that's the list, right? Yeah. That's the spreadsheet that we horse trade over.
Yeah.
That Penny mentioned. Lucy.
Can I just ask you to paste it into the chat? I just want to have a look at the list. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can do that. Give me a minute when I'm not talking, because I need to clean it up and get rid of the names next to, I've got the leaders' names next to it, so I'll take them away. Even though it might be public information anyway. But yeah, when I'm not talking, I'll do that. So I think we've covered most of those. There's a couple of sneaky ones in there, and if you know, you know, things like APUBs, for example, you may be very aware of the ASCILITE publications platform or not, I don't know. And then things like awards and grants and the research scores.
Michael, we probably should say that ASCILITE Publications is not our journal. So AJET is a separate publication. Australasian Journal of Educational Technologies is our journal. It's 40 years old this year. It's a Q1 journal, and the only Australian-based Q1 journal in education.
The top
kudos,
Australian.
Yeah.
kudos, and has been Q1 for some time. ASCILITE Publications is where we publish everything else we do. So primarily it's a spot for us to publish our conference proceedings. Every full and concise paper gets a DOI. And they're published there, but also the abstracts for symposia, pechakuchas, posters all get published on there as well. So there's the one repository. We've almost finished putting up all of our past conference proceedings. We've had a project in place for the last 3 years.
As far back as we can find would be because we actually struggling to find the ones from 1983 and 1984. But
as far back as we have access to publishing them. And so a lot of those publications are now getting DOIs where they didn't have DOIs before, and so on. So that's, so just to clarify that there are two separate platforms, APUBs, which is everything we do except the journal, and then the journal. So we have two publication areas.
And Sandy is right. I have it as Lucy called out before. We have a tendency to use lots of acronyms. So we say AJET and we just assume everyone knows what they mean. So it is worth mentioning that that's our journal, and Kwon Yui posted what it is into the chat, like what AJET stands for. So I'm not going to talk too much about the portfolios. I will do as Lucy suggests. I'll paste in the list. If there's anything you don't know, you can Google it. I think we've mentioned most of them. I will tell you though, just briefly while I've got the talking stick, I will tell you a little bit about my journey and why I ended up on the exec, right? So I have been a member since, I got it wrong by a year, actually, since Sandy's conference was the first conference I went to in Adelaide. So that means I've been a member of ASCILITE for 10 years, right? And I started as a member, and as I think it was Sandy said, found it very clearly as my tribe, a tribe of people that I got along with really well. And we hear that very consistently from a lot of our ASCILITE members. And I joined the CMP initially as a mentor for the community mentoring program. And then, as often happens, they encourage you to be a mentee. And then they encouraged me to be a mentor the year after, right? I was a mentor for several years. And that really drove me to get more involved with ASCILITE as a community. I joined a couple of SIGs, and then an executive call came out, and I guess I kind of went, oh, it would be interesting to be involved in the society more broadly. And so I applied to join the executive. And when I did, Chris Campbell, who was the president at the time, said to me, well, what do you want to do? Right? As I do with all of the new members like Penny and Lisa this year. Well, what do you want to do? And we horse trade over the spreadsheet. And I said, I want to do CMP and I want to do SIGs. Right, and they put me on CMP, and Sue Gregory was just stepping off, and so she mentored Kwon Yui and I on the CMP, and we got the chance to run the program and coordinate. So it felt almost like the next level up, right? I'd been the mentee, I'd been the mentor. This was my opportunity to really drive the program. As Kwon Yui said, during COVID, when we started to all go online, and I think we made some awesome changes to the CMP, and as Lisa and Kwon Yui have mentioned, eventually span out the Women in Professional Leadership program and the Women in Academic Leadership program as well from CMP. And I'm not taking credit for those, by the way. There's lots of other people like Patria that did WIAL and Hazel that drove WIPL, but and then, I kind of decided, okay, I'll become vice president. That seems like an obvious thing. Chris stepped up, and or I think Sue stepped away, and there was a spot, and I I decided to take that, and then I rolled into president. But really, for me, it was about contributing back to the community and working with that tribe that I really enjoyed working with. So now as president, I get the opportunity to do all of that kind of stuff, and it is totally different, but still, I think just as rewarding. And my only thing that I don't like is that I only get to do it for 2 lots of 2 years, and then after that second one, I'm not allowed to be president anymore, unless some president comes along and changes the constitution, right? Yeah. Sandy's laughing at me.
So please no. Don't we have
Are
a
you
list of
selling
things that-
hats, Michael, as well?
What's
Isn't
that?
there a
You
list of
selling
things
hats at the
banned?
ASCILITE gift store for yourself?
Yeah, that's it. Merch. We want merch. I want merch. Yes. Oh, yeah. To make ASCILITE great again. Oh, yeah. I like it. Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to tell you that story because I wanted you to sort of understand how things sort of grew and why I kind of ended up where I was. And hopefully you resonate with some of that. And I did want to reiterate what everybody else said as well. There is a commitment to being a member of ASCILITE, those online meetings, those face-to-face meetings, but there's a lot of opportunities to connect with people as well. At one point, and this is going to sound wanky, I sat down and I thought to myself, do I know every Pro Vice Chancellor Learning and Teaching at every single institution in Australia? And I got pretty close, right? Like, because you meet them all as an executive member or as vice president or as president. And yeah, when you go back to your uni and you're working with somebody, you say, oh yeah, I know Mitch Parcell. He used to be at University of Tasmania, now he's at JCU, right? You know, then it is useful to have those networking opportunities. So I'll probably stop there. We've got about 15 minutes left and I'll stop rattling on. I'll paste that list into the chat for Lucy so that you can see all the committees, and then I'll hand back to Kwong Nui if we've got any questions.
Yep. Perfect. Thanks, Mike, and thanks, everyone. I hope that is helpful to give you an overview or more insights into being ASCILITE asset. So, perfect timing. We have 15 minutes. Any questions or thoughts? Yes, Amanda.
I just wanted to clarify on the campaigning issue. What are we allowed and not allowed to do? You can tell people individually, but I can't like make a campaign video that I could post on LinkedIn about why you'd want to vote for me. Like, is that correct?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I think individually you can do that. I think the only thing that I think we is kind of in the gray area or we not recommended is you approach one of the current asset and have the name list and send an email. And I think that is going a bit too far. But if you are using your own personal individual social media platforms or networks, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, so I could.
You can campaign. You just can't use like your SIG list.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah.
could
Okay, that's
make a video for LinkedIn.
that's not what
like,
I've ever been told.
What have you been
this is where
told?
I'm
No
confused.
campaigning, full stop.
Huh?
Oh.
That's what I was told when I first nominated back in 2018.
Oh, I'm gonna
no
go.
campaigning, full stop. And I lost out because 5 people campaigned.
What's the definition of campaigning?
Putting yourself out there saying, I've nominated, please vote for me.
Oh,
Because I just wanted to check
rules.
because
that
I
the
have
rules?
also like talked to the people like, oh, if it would be helpful, I'm happy to, I guess, endorse or do something else as another ASCILITE member. And I thought I better check whether that's allowed or not allowed. So it's word of mouth.
I think it's word of mouth only. I think you can only talk to people. You can't put anything on socials.
Okay,
You
that's
can't do an email campaign.
Oh yeah, by the candidate or proxy. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I just double.
Say.
Well, I thought I would double.
And you can't ask somebody else to campaign for you.
I will make sure people don't do that because I'm sure someone might be very well-meaning. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It has been a bit ambiguous in past years, Amanda, sort of scuttlebutt, as Sandy suggested. It's actually now in the policy that somebody posted. And it is, that it is about word of mouth and your ability to get it out there without necessarily. I think Sandy defined it really well. Saying to people, hey, vote for me, please, is the no-no. And I think what we're particularly worried about is people using their ASCILITE resources to do that. which gives people an unfair advantage if you happen to be a SIG leader, for example.
Yeah, you can't ask a SIG leader to promote you at a SIG webinar or a SIG event. But it is quite, thank you, James, for posting that in the chat, the document, because it does have a specific paragraph on campaigning. Which is on page 6, and it reads, campaigning for election is limited to word of mouth only. No mass emails, posters, social media posts by the candidate or proxy regarding your candidacy are allowed. The ASCILITE Bulletin will alert members to the election. Hence, it is a good idea to have a well-written bio for your nomination.
Great question.
Sorry, Amanda.
It's a really
I
good-
haven't done
really
that
good-
before, but I have seen people doing it before. But now it's a policy, so that's great. No more ambiguity.
Makes it clear.
Makes
Yes.
it
Really
clear.
good
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, good question. Lucy.
Lucy.
I just wanted to ask, how many, I think I read that there's 3 positions, general positions up for election, is that right?
Yep.
And how many current members? Like, basically, I'm just trying to do the numbers to work out, do I even bother to put my name for it? Because
Or vice
there's like
president and president.
10
as well,
people
Lucy.
going, what was that?
Or vice president or president are available.
Yeah. Well, should we just say there are real vacancies?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are 3 positions, but there are a couple of people that are not renominating. So there are real vacancies.
There's not an incumbent, so.
Yeah, that's so. And what else can we tell you? There are bucket loads of members, Lucy. If you are measuring it against the amount of members, there's over 2,000 members, 2,300 or something. But I would argue a smaller amount that actually run for election on the committee. I think it would be fair to say that we had about 8, I think, run for the election positions last year, because that's public record. People would be able to look.
And that was the largest number we've had nominate for my knowledge.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah. You're not an automatic one necessarily, but in with a reasonably good chance.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts to help you to make a decision or to help you to understand further? But you know, you can always approach us, either email us or message us on social media, and we will get back to you if you have any question. And if you want to have an individual chat with any one of us, just let us know. I'm sure we can arrange that as well.
Yeah. Lucy, I'm always up for a coffee, so
here we are. That's right. Cool. Anything our Azette would like to add?
Yeah. We always go to good restaurants when we get together. So
that's a good motivation.
I was going to say that although we've given you this overview that seems like there is a lot of work done, there is also a lot of fun had with the executive. We laugh a lot, we chat a lot. Michael tries to keep the meeting on track, but
keep it light. Keeps it light.
He keeps it light, but sometimes, you know, afternoon tea might be scheduled at 3 o'clock and we might get to it at 3:45.
No, that is a really good point. ASCILITE is not the only Azette that I have joined in the past or currently, but I do have to say I enjoyed ASCILITE Azette the most. Very, very collegial, very, very supportive, and a lot of fun.
Yeah. We can be serious. We can have lots of debate in our discussions, but when it comes down to it, we all have a drink with each other at the end of the day and have a good laugh. So
yeah.
So it's a good social time as well.
I should also mention that it shouldn't cost you anything to be on the ASCILITE executive. Talking about that fun, we do cover people to go to the meetings. We don't cover you to go to the conference, but we will cover you for those extra days that you're at the conference.
So probably should let people know. So the face-to-face we have somewhere in June-ish. Recently it's been leading up to the June long weekend. We pay for your flights accommodation and meals, all meals. We just don't pay for alcohol. Okay, that's an FBT thing. So we do pay for everything else for the June meeting. For the meeting we have for 2 days leading up to the conference, and this year it will be fly-in Thursday, meeting Friday and Saturday, leading up to the conference. We won't pay for your airfares, but we do pay for the 3 nights accommodation, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to cover the meetings, and we'll pay for your meals at that time.
And what about the conference registration?
Oh, yes, and we pay, once you have been a member for a year, we cover your conference registration. So it's a 2-year term you're signing up for. So the year you get elected, we don't cover your conference registration, but the following 2 years we do at this point in time.
Yes, that's it at this point in time, but which is exciting for Penny because that's the year she's coming up on, right? So, and
Yes,
well,
and Lisa,
And Lisa?
and Lisa and Vickle, they're all
Yeah.
getting their, they're all getting their 100%. So,
Yeah.
so
But,
Yeah,
a lot of the executive have been doing their mentoring work and things anyway. So
yeah,
never got that discount before I was on there.
right, and it's all under discussion anyway. So there's lots of discussions to have.
Yeah. So apart from the time commitment, so have a thought about the budget planning as well with your line manager.
yeah,
Mm.
that's it. But the point I was trying to make is that I know some people worry, oh, I've got to fly, I'm going to have to fly to Gold Coast, or I'm going to have to, and we try to make sure that you're not out of pocket for the extra bits you do as an executive.
Yeah.
But yes, you do need to make the commitment to be coming to the conferences and having the rest of the funding to be able to do that.
Great. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Any final thoughts? James and Itifa, you have been quiet. All good? Yep. Awesome. All right. So this webinar will be published on our website as well. So if you want to revise it or you know check on the points, and you can. But otherwise, like I said, feel free to be in touch. And thanks, Lisa, Penny, Sandy, and Mike for joining us today to help me with giving this overview from different perspectives and their own journey as well. So I hope to see new faces soon. So have a good day, everyone. 5 minutes return to you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
The gift that keeps on giving, Kwong Nui.
Look